Hey guys, so we are moving on in our Go Math books. We are going to be dividing decimals this chapter, and then after we finish this chapter, we'll be finished with the volume 1 of our book. So you guys are doing great. You're working hard, so thank you for that. So today we're going to be dividing decimals in dividing numbers by powers of 10. So first we're going to divide a whole number by power of 10, and then we'll move on to dividing a decimal by power of 10. So if I have something that looks like this, 225. If you want to turn to page 293 in your Go Math book, you guys aren't supposed to, this is not a part of your assignment, but if you want to follow along with me, you can. Divided by 10 to the 0 power, 225 divided by 10 to the first power, 225 divided by 10 to the second power, and 225 divided by 10 to the third power. So when I look at this, I think of PEMDAS, P being parentheses, needs to be solved first. We don't have any parentheses. Next would be exponents. So if we look at this and we have exponents, so I want to go ahead and solve this exponent and just write what this equals above it. So 10 to the 0th power equals 1. So if I do 225 divided by 1, I'm still going to get 225. So that one's pretty easy. If I have 225 divided by 10 to the first power, 10 to the first power equals 10. So when I have 225 divided by 10, all I'm going to do is count how many zeros I have in my power of 10. I have 1. So I'm going to start at the end of my whole number. That's where my decimal, my invisible decimal really is. And I'm going to move it in one time because I had 1 0. So that would give me 22 5/10. So if I have 10 to the second power, we know that is the same as 10 times 10, which equals 100. So I have 225 divided by 100. I have 2 zeros in my 100. So I know I have to start at my decimal point at the end because there's an invisible decimal here and move it in once and twice because I have 2 zeros. So that would be 2 and 25 hundredths. So for my last one, I've got 10 to the third. So 10 to the third is the same as 10 times 10 times 10, which gives me 1,000. So 225 divided by 1,000. I count how many zeros I have. 1, 2, 3. I start at the very end where my decimal point is and move it in 1, 2, 3. So my decimal goes here. Don't forget I need to write a 0 in front of that decimal. 0 and so I have 225 thousandths. So all we're doing when we're dividing by whole numbers, powers of 10, like 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, all of those numbers, when we divide, we're making it smaller, so we need to move our decimal to the left. When we did this with multiplication, and we were multiplying a number by 10, 100, 1,000, we're moving it to the right because we're just making it bigger. But now we're making it smaller, so we have to move it to the left. So, now let's look at one that is a decimal divided by powers of 10. So we're going to look on number 9 on page 293. So I'm going to have 92 5/10 divided by 10 to the 0 power. 92 5/10 divided by 10 to the first power. 92 5/10 divided by 10 to the second power. So I'm going to go ahead, start at the top, and solve my exponent. So my exponent, power of 10 is 10 to the 0. We know that equals 1. So all we have is 92 and 5/10 divided by 1. I don't have any zeros in my 1, so I don't need to move that decimal at all. So it's going to be 92 5/10. All right, for my second one, 10 to the first power equals 10. So 92.5 divided by 10, we're making it smaller. So my decimal is here, and I'm moving it in one place because I have 1 0. So that was going to give me 9 25 hundredths. So for our last one, we have 10 squared, or 10 to the second power. That equals 10 times 10, which is 100. So I have 2 zeros here, so that means I'm moving my decimal to the left once and twice. So my decimal goes there. I need to add a 0 in front of it, 0.925. So 925 thousandths. So all you're doing is moving that decimal to the left when you are dividing by powers of 10. So you guys will be doing page 295, and some of them have already solved your exponents for you, but some have not. So I just suggest you guys solve the exponent by writing the number above it, just so you know how many zeros you have in that number and moving it to the left that many times. Okay, thank you guys. Bye.